Hello everyone, in this video I'll walk through creating a modern network layer in Swift using asynchronous. I'll explain each line of code as I type it, compare it with older methods and show you how to use this network layer in SwiftUI. Okay, let's begin. Here I created a group network, and within that I'm just creating network layer. So this is just a basic way of writing network layer. So if you want to create it for the professional projects, it has some few steps before we are going to create a network layer, which is like internet checking layer. So if you want to check the internet and then proceed for the actual API calling, so for that we have to create a network check class. And another one is like if your API is morely protected with SSL pinning, then you have to have one more class before this called SSL pinning. So this is just a beginner stuff which helps people to understand how to create a network layer which is more and more generic. So first of all, I'm going to create a class network layer. So probably this is the backbone of our network layer. Making it a singleton ensures there is only one instance of it through the app. Okay, so we can make it as singleton. Okay, network layer. My enter button is not working properly, so it is very hard to do this. Yeah, here we can make it as a single instance. And before I want to explain a few things that here I am going to showcase in the first part of video how to call the get APIs. So post, put, delete or some of the functionalities we use to hit server. So here I am going to showcase how to get data from the server using get APIs. So this is basically the first part. I'll explain how to write all those functions in my upcoming videos. Before that probably whenever it comes to generic, when it comes to generic, there should be some steps to make that functionality more generic. So what are the generic steps we need to create a get data? Here means the first point is whatever the endpoint it has to accept. Okay, so here we don't have endpoints and don't even have a URLs. So here I'm just going to create some basic stuffs. Okay, network layer, so NL, so this is video app and URLs or URL. Okay, so here I'm going to have it as Shinam. First case should be a base URL. Okay, so here I'm going to have it as, currently I don't have any APIs here, so I'm going to have it as example.com here. And for the endpoints, we can have examples like maybe product list, for that category and slash category. Okay, so and second thing, so we have to make it smaller, and products. So these are all the steps we are going to have here. So two APIs. So this network layer should accept whatever the category and whatever the product, whatever the endpoint it should accept. So the type is going to be NL video app URL. So there is no use for the generic functionality here. So how to make it more generic means the type of data we are going to receive. So within this network layer we are going to decode the data which is we get from the server. So for that, whatever the type, it should decode according to that. So for that we are using the we can name it as a get data function T, which confirms the codable, which means it has the capability of encoding and decoding stuff. Other than that, it won't accept. And within that, you can have endpoint as a parameter and nl video URL. I'm here using async throws which returns t here. Okay, so this is what I told in the introduction itself, that we are going to use the async through. Before, how it look like means adding like before we used the old methods using closures and return types, which for example function get data old, like it's been like 4 years from now. I'm just used this method to make network layer most generic. This is completely developed by me actually. So here what I've done is on success, and I'm going to have a t type which is a closure, and same thing again on failure where it throws the error, and this is some old stuff. This is the first whenever I started my working profession, this is what I've used. So this is some old stuffs which has two closures and have to handle very properly. And after that, when Swift 4 is launched, they introduced the result protocol. So during that time, I've just shifted to using that get data using result. Okay, get data result, like that I'm naming it. Here t Codable, and I'm giving it name as on completion. On completion of hitting the server, we are going to receive the result which has t type and error type, and which returns void, and this is kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the second stuff I used most, because the result will be splitted using Swift and returning it as on success data, on failure data, like that I'm going to get in the view model and do the process according to that. Within that also, here I'm going to mention endpoint, like the same stuff I'm going to do here too. So these are all some old stuffs. So now I'm switching it to async throws. So here there is no usage of this uh, closures. Here both methods worked worked before async await, but they lacked readability and introduced more complexity when chaining multiple calls. This is the disadvantages I faced here, but here I won't. It is easy to call this, like like if I want to hit the category and product API at the same time, it will work actually. But here I have to chaining it. Once it is succeed, I have to call another one in the success, like that I have to do, or like it will create a problem, right? So uh, chaining multiple calls will be very complicated whenever we are using these kind of old methods. And now here within this, okay, so throw means, we all know what throw means. It is like it used to throw some exceptions when something unexpected, I mean the desired outcome is not come. There should be some errors or unexpected things will happen, or exceptions will going to happen. So for that, we are using throws to throw what kind of error we are getting, or what is, or rather what is throwing rather than expecting the output. Okay, so here I'm going to have my own set of errors to identify what kind of error it is throwing for the readability point of view, or from the project point of view. So let's define the errors we want to handle in our network layer. For this get function, what are the possible errors? Like we can customize this error, we can name it as nl video app error. Okay, I'm going to inherit the error, And the first step is creating or forming the URL. So we can use the URL function with string parameter, and we are going to what is that, we are going to concat that base URL along with the whatever the endpoint it is. So on that time it should form a proper URL, right? So otherwise if it fails, it won't pass the URL request. For that, first check should be the URL, whether it is a valid URL or not. So for that I'm going to write invalid URL error. Okay. And second one is, once the URL is perfectly worked, we checked everything, and we throws the URL whether it is whether if it is invalid. And the next step would be creating the URL request. Okay, so after creating the URL request with URL, and it is going to hit the server. After hitting the server, it is going to return the data response and error in the URL session. Here we are going to use the URL session, the native one. So within that the response should be valid, right? So if it is invalid, we have to throw invalid response error. Okay. And another one case. Okay, once the response is also valid and URL is also valid, what other expecting error or there means, whenever we use the JSON decode, on that time it should decode it properly. So if it is not decoded and it returns nil, there should be an error we need to throw, which is called data decode error. So I am defining all these steps. Okay. Now the first step, as we said, within this get data function, I'm going to check the URL. Okay, let URL equal to URL string, and I'm going to use the base URL first dot base URL dot row value, plus I'm going to concatenate with the endpoint we are going to receive. Okay, so the raw value, or else it should throw what error? NL video app error dot invalid URL error. So this is, it should throw, and this error is like we are throwing the T, right? So it is it is showing until we've done the whole function. It will get avoided once everything is completed. So second one is the process of creating the URL request, and URL request URL, we have to pass the URL. Now it is succeed. And here we used the async throws, right? So that's why, and we are going to get the data and responses tuple here, and I'm using try wait URL session dot share dot data task from URL. Yes, and I'm passing the URL request here. Okay, so everything is done here. As I said before, data and response are the same. So we need to check whether the response is valid or not. So we are checking again, go let http response equal to response. We are going to convert this response as http typecasting http URL response, and we are going to check whether this 2002209, okay, sorry, 299, until that it is a valid response, and it contains http URL response to status code. Oh, my enter button is not working properly. Status code, otherwise else we have to throw NL video app error dot invalid response error. Okay, so everything is done. Next we are going to decode the data. So result equal to try JSON decoder dot decode, and we are going to have a type t dot self from the data. Okay, so we need to check the error. For this result, we are going to check if let result equal to result as any collection comma result dot is empty means throw nl video app error dot data decode error. So it should be a collection, but it is any collection. Okay, and finally if everything is passed, we are going to return the result data. Okay, so this is how a basic network layer looks like. So here everything is checked. So first of all, our network layer must be generic. So here, okay, and we are going to tick this one. Where is that green tick? Sorry, I'm doing this late. I'm going to copy this once it is found out. Where is that green symbol? Oh my god, we can tick or something. Yes, so this is a green tick. I'm going to copy this next time. I don't want to. Yeah, generic. And second one, it should handle errors too, and also it should accept all endpoint, all type of endpoint. This is not valid, it comes under a generic one only. And what are the other stuffs? Handle error, and throws exception, yes. Chaining of API calls we can do. So these are all the things which is some basics of writing or creating the network layer. Okay, so I'm here created the SwiftUI view. So how to call this kind of stuffs? Okay, before that, whenever we use this old stuffs, we have to create a in-between layer between this network layer and the actual view model. So that layer tells network layer that this is the model type they are going to use, right? So but here the problem, there is nothing like that. There is no problem having in between layer, but still if you want that, we can use that. So before that, can we create some structs for this product and category API? This is not a valid one. Let's create something like struct category model, and it should conform to Codable as we are giving the generic variable as Codable. Okay, so this category model, within that var cat name, not the cat name, it is a category name, and var cat ID, so it's just a category ID. Okay, and product, I'm going to have product. Why always my second letter is uppercase? I don't know why. Sorry. Codable. And var product name, and var cat ID of this product. Maybe int. Here also it comes as int because it is ID. Okay. So this is the model we created for the endpoint, which is ready now, and every variable is optional here. And third one is like creating view model and it is very illegal to write all these stuffs inside network layer. Network layer should be clean, and everyone must follow solid principle definitely. Okay, so this is the mandatory step, and no one have a rights to avoid this, because this solid principle ensure your code quality and maintainability and reusability of the code. Basically following the solid principle is what makes the developer looks the quality of the code tells how the developer should be, right? So that is the source of truth. Whatever you write as a code, that is you. So what is inside you is comes out as a code here. So we should be careful on writing code which ensures the maintainability and elasticity, I mean the reusability of the code. It ensures, and one must follow the solid principle to make it more easier. So the code is not only responsibility of only one developer. So as every single part of the code will touch by multiple people. Even we left our company or we left that project, someone will touch the same code wherever you work. So it should be understandable and it should be modifiable, and simultaneously if we work, it should not give conflicts, right? So following solid principle will ensure all these steps, and please follow solid principle while writing the code. And now here we comes to view model, and class nl video app view model. Okay, so I'm going to make it as observable object. So at published where category data and should be like category model and category model initialization. Similarly at published where product data. So here the product data is not only a single product, I'm going to give it as a product. So here I'm going to assign the empty array. Okay, it works. Now our main thing is function get. First of all we are going to call the category API. So get category data and async throws. Oh my god. Okay, so this is how the function looks. And now within inside this we are going to have a single line self dot category data equal to network layer. Here we are going to have try white network layer, sorry, yeah, network. Oh my god, my enter button is somewhat collapsed. Network layer dot share dot get data endpoint. Here we are going to use the category. Okay, yep, in the same function we are going to call, it will work actually. So even the product data stuffs also, if we're going to call, it will call. Sorry, share dot get data for products, right? So this will also work. So maybe we can call it as get data for VM model. So particularly how to use is like when you are creating a dashboard view and we are having the dashboard view model, so that get data for dashboard view is fine. It will trigger the all the API at same time without causing any trouble. we can have it like this. So that's it here in the view model. Okay, so everything is fine here. So we have the network layer here, and view model here, and models here. Then how to use it in the content view, which means SwiftUI view. So this is the default one. I'm not going to touch anything here, but I'm going to showcase how it works. So we have a function called onAppear. Everyone knows that. So whatever inside the onAppear will going to call whenever the view is appear. So within inside we are going to have a task, because it uses async await. One should use task to call that. So here, before that, I'm going to create a view model instance. Maybe we can create it as a state object. Okay, so where vm equal to nl video app view model. Okay, so here try white vm dot get data for vm. So here, likewise here we need to call that API. Okay, so it will trigger, I think, in the preview. Okay, one second. Oh, I'm having some low version of Xcode. I couldn't see the preview output. I'm lagging with some space stuff, so I didn't updated my Mac. We are having a Sequoia right now, but I'm very backwarded. Okay, leave it like that. So here how it is getting called. So similarly, this is like first part of the video. Let's see how to write a post API as a generic one under the network layer. That's it for today. Please let me know anything missed or anything we can change in the code, or ways to simplify more the network layer. And here we can simplify like this. Any comments you can mention, and if it is useful, share max. Thank you.